On the lands of modern Manhattan, there once stretched dense forests, marshy lowlands, and numerous river inlets. The Hudson River flowed through, with small streams and lakes connecting to the Atlantic Ocean. The shores were covered with trees, and in summer meadows and wildflowers bloomed. These lands were rich in natural resources, fish in rivers, game in forests, and fruits in valleys. Such nature provided everything needed for life and became home to the first inhabitants of the region. On the map, islands and inlets connected the lands with waterways later used by traders and explorers. These lands were inhabited by the Lenape people, known for their peaceful and organized way of life. The Lenape were divided into small communities, each with its own settlement along rivers and streams. Their villages were built from wood and covered with bark, with roofs made from reeds and leaves. The Lenape protected their territories, practiced hunting and farming, and elders and chiefs made decisions on peace and order. Each settlement had its own name, and on the map, the tribes occupied important areas along the Hudson River, controlling access to water and natural resources. The women of the Lenape tribe played a key role in village life. They prepared food, gathered berries and roots, sewed clothing from deer and other animal skins, and wove baskets and bags from plants. Their hands created cloaks and blankets that protected against rain and winter cold. Women taught children crafts, passed on knowledge about plants and hunting, and maintained the storage of winter supplies. It was thanks to their work that the settlements survived harsh conditions and preserved cultural traditions from generation to generation. The men of the Lenape tribe went hunting in the dense forests surrounding their villages. The forests were full of deer, rabbits, birds and fish in rivers and streams. They used bows, arrows and traps to catch meat and skins necessary for life and clothing. Hunts were often group efforts. Several men would drive deer or catch fish together. The catch was brought home, where it was dried, smoked, and turned into warm clothing and blankets from the hides. Hunting was not only a source of food, but also a vital ritual. Men honored the animals, giving thanks for the food and maintaining harmony with nature. This way of life allowed the tribe to survive and pass traditions from elders to young hunters. In addition to hunting, the Lenape practiced agriculture. They grew corn, beans, squash, and sunflowers. These crops provided food for the winter months and allowed the community to trade surplus with neighboring tribes, ensuring survival and stability. Each Lenape settlement had a chief who led the community, made decisions about peace and conflict, distributed resources, and ensured that customs and traditions were followed. The chief was a respected elder whose wisdom guided the tribe and was passed down through generations. During winter, the tribe built fires inside their homes and wore warm cloaks and animal furs to protect against the cold. Children played near the fire, while women prepared food and wove baskets, storing provisions to survive the long, harsh months. Years passed in this way. The Lenape lived in small communities, hunted, farmed, and practiced crafts. These traditions lasted for centuries until European settlers arrived, bringing new goods, knowledge, and ways of life that gradually changed the region. In the 17th century, Dutch traders began trading with the Lenape. The tribes exchanged animal skins for beads, pearls, and metal items. Trade opened new opportunities but also altered their traditional lifestyle, requiring communication skills and agreements with Europeans. Over time, the tribes learned to build homes from wood and stone. Solid structures with roofs and hearths appeared, and some villages grew into small communities. These skills, combined with European techniques, led to safer and more permanent settlements. By the 18th century, New Amsterdam showed signs of a civilized city. Stone buildings, paved streets, and a busy port with trading ships. Amsterdam, a center of trade and culture, served as a model, and the settlement grew rapidly. By the 17th and 18th centuries, the city became an important trade hub, connecting the old and new worlds. In 1664, English forces captured the city and officially named it New York in honor of the Duke of York. This day was celebrated with festivals, ships decorated with flags, streets filled with music, and citizens In 1654, the first Sephardic Jews arrived by ship from Brazil. They carried Torah scrolls, prayer books, and modest belongings. On the dock, Townspeople watched the men in long dark coats, women in dresses and head coverings, and children holding small bundles. Rain fell lightly, the wet boards of the pier glistening, and a rainbow appeared in the sky, marking a historic moment, the beginning of the first Jewish community in North America. Although Governor Peter Stuyvesant initially opposed their presence, the Dutch West India Company allowed the Jewish families to remain. At that time, the Dutch Republic was known for greater religious tolerance compared to many other European nations. In Amsterdam itself, Protestants, Catholics, Jews, and other religious groups lived side by side. This atmosphere of relative freedom gradually took root in New Amsterdam as well. The city was beginning to become a place where different cultures and beliefs could coexist. Continuation, the growth of a multicultural city, about 30 seconds. Over time, not only Dutch settlers and Jewish families arrived, but also Germans, French, English and immigrants from other parts of Europe. The port expanded, trade increased, and the streets grew busier each year. In the markets, different languages could be heard, and a variety of clothing styles and customs could be seen. New Amsterdam slowly developed into one of the most diverse settlements in the New. When the city became New York under English rule, the spirit of trade and diversity was already firmly established. This combination, religious freedom, commercial ambition, and constant immigration, became the foundation of the future metropolis. If you want, I can now write a strong closing paragraph that emotionally connects early New Amsterdam to modern New York City. From silent forests and Lenape villages to Dutch traders, English rule, and the arrival of new communities, this land has carried centuries of transformation. What was once a small settlement on the edge of the Atlantic slowly became a gateway to opportunity, diversity, and ambition. Every wave of people, native tribes, European settlers, Jewish families, merchants, sailors, added another layer to the city's identity. The spirit of trade, resilience, and cultural coexistence shaped what we now know as New York. And this is only the beginning of its story. If you want to discover more hidden histories behind the world's greatest cities, subscribe to the channel and join me on this journey through time. Now I would love to hear from you. Which era would you like to travel to next? Would you choose to walk through the forests of early Manhattan, witness the rise of New Amsterdam, or experience the first days of New York under English rule? Tell me in the comments what time period you would want to see and feel, and which historical city we should explore together in the next episode. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next journey through history.